San Francisco, California. Chinatown District. March 22nd, 1969, Saturday night. 11:30 p.m. Bruce Lee stood outside the Red Dragon restaurant. King Ah windows, where yellow light flickered through gaps in the curtains. Behind those windows, beneath the legitimate restaurant, in a basement that officially didn't exist, men were fighting. Real fighting. Blood fighting. Money fighting. Bruce wasn't supposed to be here. This wasn't his world. These weren't his students. This was the underground, the place where martial arts tradition met street violence, where ancient techniques were tested against modern brutality, where reputations were made and destroyed in minutes. But one of his students was inside. Tommy Chun, 19 years old, talented, dedicated, and stupid enough to accept an invitation to prove himself in a place where proving yourself could mean never walking again. Tommy hadn't shown up for class in 3 days. No phone call. No explanation. Juste gone. And then, this morning, an envelope slipped under Bruce's school door. No return address. Inside, a single piece of paper with an address and a time. And a message written in Chinese calligraphy. Your student is here. If you want him back, come get him. Bruce pushed open the restaurant door. The smell of grease and cigarette smoke hit him immediately. 3 men at the bar turned to look. One of them smiled. Not friendly recognition, they'd been expecting him. And in the basement below, Vincent the Viper Chun, the man who ran the underground fight circuit in San Francisco Chinatown, was about to make the biggest mistake of his life. Bruce passed through the door behind the bar. A narrow corridor, damp, a mix of paint smell and mold. At the end, a staircase. Descending, the wooden steps creaked with every step. Huit step shouting, voices encouragement yelling, the music of violence. The basement appeared. 80 people crammed into a space designed for 40. Standing room only. Shoulder to shoulder. The air was thick with cigarette smoke, sweat, and the metallic smell of blood that never quite washed out of the concrete. A single overhead light illuminated a circle marked with white chalk. 20 feet in diameter. No ropes, no padding. Juste space. These weren't casual observers. These were martial artists. Street fighters, gamblers, men who understood violence not as theory but as reality. They came every Saturday night, paid $20 at the door, watched fights that ranged from skilled to savage, and left either inspired or horrified. When Bruce reached the bottom of the stairs, the crowd turned. Conversations slowed. Whispers began. Is that him? Bruce Lee, the movie star. Let's see if he's real or not. In the center of the chalk circle stood a man. Arme crosse. Dominant posture. To his right, tied to a chair, Tommy Chun, face swollen. Left eye closed. Lips split. What had happened over 3 days was clear. The man looked at Bruce, smiled, but there was no warmth in his smile. There was triumph. There was anticipation. Bruce Lee, the voice was deep, authoritative. He spoke perfect Cantonese. Finally, you came. I thought maybe you wouldn't send. Maybe you'd sacrifice your student to protect your own reputation. Bruce stood at the bottom of the stairs. Didn't move through the crowd. Not yet, just looked. At Tommy, at the damage on the boy's face. At the shame in his eyes. Then at Vincent. Release my student, Bruce spoke calmly. He's not your fight. Premier homme. Vincent's smile widened. But he came here to prove himself. He told me, I'm Bruce Lee's student. Show me respect. So I showed him respect. 3 rounds. Fair. Clean. Just technically insufficient. But now he understands. He understands what real kung fu is. Bruce took 3 steps forward. Now he was at the edge of the crowd. 80 people were watching him. Some curious, some skeptical, some excited. They would see violence, maybe see blood, maybe see legend. Vincent Chun, Bruce said. Hung Gar, master. 15 years training. From Hong Kong, traditionalist. I respect that. But I'm taking my student, now. Vincent nodded. You can take him. But first you must show me. Show me what your Hollywood kung fu can do against real kung fu. This isn't a film studio. Théâtre serial. Prove to me you know something worth teaching. This was a trap. Bruce knew it. Vincent had planned this. Target Tommy, draw Bruce here. Humiliate him in front of 80 witnesses. Disgrace Hollywood kung fu. Prove the superiority of traditional mastery. But Bruce had no choice. Tommy was still tied. Stealing pain. And the men here were lawless. If Bruce refused, he might never see Tommy again. Brûlés. Bruce asqued. Vincent laughed. A crude, dismissive laugh. Rules? There are no rules here. The fight ends when someone taps out, passes out, or can't continue. Simple. Bruce nodded. Understood. Then let's begin. Vincent took off his jacket. Underneath was traditional kung fu attire. Black, plain. He rolled up his sleeves. On his wrists were scars from old fight injuries. His hands were thickened from makiwara training. Knuckles protruding from iron palm conditioning. Mauvais dental. Hung Gar stance. Classic. Heavy. Rooted. Feet wider than shoulder width. Center of gravity low. Hands at chest level. Tiger claw formation. This stance was for power. For stability. For delivering a strike you couldn't defend against. The crowd fell silent. Not even whispers now. Just the sound of breathing, waiting. Bruce stepped into the chalk circle. Still in those black training pants. Still in white t-shirt, shoeless, always shoeless. He didn't take any formal stance. Just stood, hands at his sides, relaxed. Like he was standing there to chat with a friend. Vincent raised an eyebrow. You're not going to take a guard. Don't need to, Bruce said simply. Someone in the crowd laughed, dismissively, arrogantly, this little man. This famous man, did he think he was invincible? Vincent got angry, insulted. Bruce wasn't taking him seriously. Wasn't taking his 15 years of training. His tradition, his mastery seriously. You'll regret that, Vincent said. On attaqued. In Hung Gar, the first attack is usually a test, measuring the opponent's response. Speed, reflexes, technical understanding. Vincent threw a straight punch. Powerful but not uncontrolled. Testing. Bruce's head slid slightly to the side. Tuash. The punch passed. Grazed his cheek but didn't connect. Vincent pulled back. Analyzed again, fast, unexpected, but maybe luck. The second attack was more serious. Combination, low kick Hung Gar style. Then, sweeping back fist. Classic double attack. The leg draws attention down, the hand strikes up. Bruce's knee met the low kick, light, minimal. Contact, sufficient, and when the back fist came, Bruce stepped forward, inside, into Vincent's striking range. Door close. The hand couldn't extend, ineffective. Vincent reflexively stepped back. Tried to create distance. But Bruce followed. Like a shadow. Every time Vincent took a step, Bruce took a step. The distance never increased. The crowd noticed. Something was wrong. Vincent wasn't in control. The rhythm was with Bruce. Vincent grew desperate. Time to use raw power. Hung Gar's signature. Tiger claw strike, powerful, direct, penetrates everything. Bruce's hand came up. Open palm. Touched Vincent's wrist. Light, but exactly the right spot. Tendon point. Nerve cluster. Vincent's claw form collapsed. Loss of power in his fingers. Momentary, but it was enough. Bruce's other hand moved. Vincent's elbow. Right at the joint. Angled pressure. The arm locked. Vincent was controlled. And then Bruce pushed, gently but irresistibly. Vincent lost balance. Fell to the ground. Not hard, controlled, but definitely on the ground. The crowd was silent. In shock. What happened? What did we see? Vincent was angry, humiliated. He got up immediately. Le qui? Bruce didn't respond. Juste étade. Vincent changed strategy this time. Close range. Bruce's preferred distance. Maybe he'd make a mistake there. Et mauvais din. Chiso distance. Wing Chun distance. Bruce's own playing field. And there, Vincent saw the truth. Because Bruce's hands began to move, fast, fluid, every time. Vincent made a block, Bruce had made two movements. Every time Vincent tried an attack, Bruce redirected it. Contre les 45 seconds. Vincent was sweating. His breathing had gotten heavy. He hadn't landed a single clean strike. On de Bruce. Bruce's breathing hadn't even changed. Vincent tried the last resort. Ground fighting. Not common in Hung Gar, but it's taught. Grappling, fighting. Wrestling move, diving. Bruce was waiting. When Vincent dove, Bruce's knee came up. But it didn't hit Vincent's head. He chased. Stopped the momentum. Vincent hung in the air, his balance completely dependent on Bruce's knee. Bruce pushed lightly. Changed direction. Vincent spun, uncontrolled, and hit the ground. En bas. Harder this time. 90 seconds. Exactly. Vincent on the ground, breathing hard. Bruce standing over him, calm, not even sweating. The crowd exploded. Some shooting. Some applauding. Some silent in shock. But everyone understood. The legend was real. Bruce reached down to Vincent. Extended his hand. Vincent looked at that hand. Smiled. But the hand that had just defeated him. A master with 15 years of Hung Gar training in 90 seconds. Vincent slowly took it. Bruce Pouled. Strong pull. Vincent stood up. Hung Gar is a beautiful art, Bruce said. His voice was respectful, not condescending. You're talented, strong, but you're making a mistake. You think your style is the best, the only right way. But in reality, every style has strengths and weaknesses. Hung Gar has strong low stance, powerful strikes. But it's slow. Struggles to adapt to distance changes. Bruce posed. Looked around. 80 pairs of eyes were on them. I learned Wing Chun, but then I learned boxing. Then I learned fencing. Then I learned wrestling. I took something from each. Because in real fighting, there's no style. Just what works? That's the question. You're trapped in one system. Beautiful system. Effective system. But limited system. Vincent's face changed. Anger was slowly melting. Understanding was coming. Difficult understanding. Painful understanding. Tommy, Bruce turned to his student. Still tied to the chair. Untie him. Someone from the crowd stepped forward. Untied the rope. Tommy stood up, swayed. Bruce caught him. I'm sorry, Sifu, Tommy whispered. I was stupid. I wanted to prove myself. Yes, you were stupid, Bruce said. But his voice was kind. But you learned. Sometimes the best lessons are the most painful ones. Bruce turned to Vincent. Did my student disrespect you? Vincent nodded. He came arrogantly. Said he was your student. Like that made him untouchable. Then I apologize, Bruce said. He's still young. Still doesn't understand. But now he understands. And you taught him something too. A valuable lesson. Vincent's eyes held mixed emotions. Stylangé. But also respect. Also curiosity. Will you teach me? Vincent asked. His voice was low. Only Bruce could hear. Wing Chun, and the other things. What you know? I'll teach you Hung Gar, exchange, equal. Bruce smiled. A real, warm smile. I already know some Hung Gar, but your version is different. I'd like to work with you. But not here. He looked around. Il y a le basement. Concrete that smelled of blood. At my school, legal. Safe, the right place to learn. Vincent nodded. Accepted. After that night, Vincent the Viper Chun became Bruce Lee's student. Every week, he went to Bruce's school in Oakland. Learned to combine his Hung Gar with Wing Chun. Learned boxing. Learned fencing. Learned the limitless approach. And the Red Dragon basement. It closed 3 months later. Vincent decided to shut it down. No longer needed, he told his students. If you want to learn real fighting, find a real teacher. All you learn underground is violence. When Bruce Lee died in 1973, Vincent was at the funeral. He cried quietly. He had worked with Bruce for years. But those for years had taught him more than 15 years had. 50 years later, in 2019, Vincent Chun still lives in San Francisco. 85 years old. He doesn't teach anymore, but he's still a consultant. On his office wall hang 2 photographs. One with his old Hung Gar master in Hong Kong, the other with Bruce Lee in Oakland. 2 live. 1 transformation. Vincent always tells young martial artists the same story. I lost everything in 90 seconds. My ego, my arrogance, mi certainty. But I also gained everything, understanding, humility, real growth. And he adds, Bruce Lee could have defeated me in 30 seconds. Could have hurt me. Could have humiliated me. But he took 90 seconds. Because he didn't just want to win. He wanted to teach. And those 90 seconds changed the rest of my life. Tommy Shen, he continued training. Turned his shame into motivation. After Bruce died, he worked under Don Inosanto. Now he has his own school, Incitel, and he tells every new student the same story. I did something stupid one night, and my teacher came to save me. That night I learned 2 lessons. 1. Ego is dangerous. 2. A real teacher doesn't just teach. He protects too. The Red Dragon basement became legend. Buildings were demolished. Chinatown changed. But the story of that night lives on. The 80 witnesses never forgot that night. Some tell their grandchildren, I was there. I saw Bruce Lee really fight. 90 seconds. And everything changed forever. This isn't just a fight story. This is a rescue story. How real power lies not in destroying enemies, but in transforming them. How true mastery lies not in winning, but in teaching. And how 90 seconds can last a lifetime. Bruce Lee fought for 90 seconds that night. But the impact lasted 50 years. And it's still lasting